Yeah, we're Gucci. All right. Welcome, everyone, to the A Better Way to a podcast. We are your hosts, Andrew and Jordan. I'm Jordan. This is Andrew. And today we have Kris Chanski here with us. Kris is someone that we've been chatting with for a while on the internet.
Yeah.
Constantly pops up into our feed. We tried linking up with once before, over a year ago, and it just didn't pan out.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. You are the GM/CEO of the Range 702 in Las Vegas, Nevada. You make a bunch of content on there, a bunch of super catchy stuff, shooting guns. Yeah, recently we've been having people on the show who I think have done very well based on vibes alone. You know, you actually know about, I've done I've been following you long enough. I know what you do and whatnot, but last two guys we had on, other than the fact that they were cool people and we, semi-agreed on politics and whatnot, I was like, tell me about yourself. And they were banger episodes. So I think with the backstory, with the back information, and the fact that you were just a cool person overall, I think we're going to have a good time today.
Awesome. No pressure there.
No, don't suck.
The last few ones have been awesome. Don't fuck it up.
Big shoes
don't
to
fuck
fill.
up my streaks.
Yeah. But yeah, how long have you been how long have you been working at the Range? Do you want me to call it the Range 702 every time?
Yeah.
That's the full name, right?
No, yeah, the whole name is the Range 702. We can call it.
How long have you been working at TR7?
Right.
02.
That's a new one. No, the Range is totally fine. I've been there for 8 years. So for a while, I started only in the capacity of my job was director of sales and marketing. So I was just doing sales and marketing stuff, wasn't in the operations at all. And I did that for about a year and a half. And then I moved over to kind of taking over operations and then everything else. So it's been a learning curve. But also I discovered a huge passion of mine. So
that's awesome. Guns in general or running the place?
Both, I guess. I have an operations and sales and marketing background. So operations kind of made sense for me. And I know I love it. I didn't know I loved guns. In fact, I didn't like guns before coming here. I was someone who would vote to abolish guns back in the day.
Wow.
So I have
my God. So you're
huge change,
saying
obviously.
You've changed as a person over the course of time?
Yes. Imagine that.
Whoa.
Learn and grow.
Whoa.
What? Crazy.
So what made you what led you to working at a gun range, let alone managing one?
So I was in a job that I on paper so successful. However, it was very corporate. Whenever I started working there, it wasn't corporate, and then by the time I was there for 12 years. So it ended up very corporate, which is just not who I am. And I was spending just so much time reporting on what I was doing that I felt like I was reporting more than I was doing and just not fulfilling at all for me. Yeah. So I kind of wanted to leave, but I also wasn't, aggressively looking to leave. And I think everybody's been in that situation when you're just kind of like, ugh. And this kind of just fell in my lap, and I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know there was tourist gun ranges. I didn't even know that was a thing. I had actually never been to a gun range. Didn't really know what it was, but the opportunity was there. So it was just I was like, why would I, I'm unhappy and asking the universe to drop something in my lap, and then it does. And then why wouldn't I do it? So even though it was out of my comfort zone, I was just like, fuck it. I'm going to try it. And I worked here for quite a while without even going inside the range, and, purchased no firearms, and didn't really, maybe started to feel a little differently about firearms, but not a lot. And then the thing that kind of did it for me is I was going through a divorce, and somebody decided to travel across the whole country and stalk and attempt to take my life. And that when someone literally from across the country, who I was like, why are you even here? And they're, literally followed me home with weapons. That's a moment where I think everything changes. So sometimes even when I debate, gun issues with people, I'm like, you know what? I hope you live such a life that you never have to have that drastic change that I did. But I literally bought a gun the next day. I was lucky to already be working at the range, so I was already familiar, and I already trained, so I already kind of knew, how to handle a firearm. So that's great. But I think going through that really changes your perspective. And then for me, living that changed my perspective, but also, seeing seeing and hearing the stories of people that come in to buy a gun and why they're buying a gun, that'll really do it too.
Yeah. So you took the job at the range while you were still not a fan of baby killing machines?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's, I give you a lot of
Pretty big
credit
leap
for
of faith.
seeing an opportunity and saying, this is better than what I have, and it might not be what you saw yourself doing at the time or in the future, but taking that chance and, taking that opportunity to learn more about it. And, it's nice that you had a baseline knowledge before you needed to buy a gun or wanted to buy a gun, where, I think a lot of people on the quote unquote other side would prefer to think that they don't exist. And, it's something that we talk about all the time on the show is, for a group of people who are so supposedly into safety and protecting people and whatnot, they're very against learning about guns and very against teaching children about guns and gun safety. And it's always seemed very hypocritical to me. So I commend you for taking the steps to, even though you were in a position different than most, being in a gun space, but nothing forced you to learn more about them, and so that was cool that you did that.
Yeah, I think that part of me has always been there. First, I'll always just jump into things I don't know. I kind of love it. I feel like it's how I learn and grow as a person. So I love to jump like that. That was very on brand for me to be like, I have no idea what the fuck this is. Let's do it. And still to this day, like, I love that. So that was like very on brand for me. But I also can say, like, even though I considered myself anti-gun, I never really spoke about it because I didn't know much about it. And I would always just be like, I don't know. I just don't like them. I don't know.
Wow. Imagine that, not knowing about something and choosing not to speak about it.
That's weird.
I have no idea what
anybody
that's
can take
like.
anything away from this podcast. That's it.
Yeah. If you don't know what you're talking about, learn.
Yeah. So I got to the point where I was like, oh, maybe I do want to like have an opinion about this. So I chose to learn about it. And then once I started learning, my opinion changed a lot. So
Heck yeah. I've said a few times that I would, in a perfect world, people would decide on their own to learn more about firearms and, put aside their preconceived notions regarding them and the misinformation that they've been fed, realize that it's all false for the most part, or at least half truths. But, this massive growth in gun owners that we've seen recently has been as a result of historically people who have been anti-gun feeling unsafe and feeling like their rights are about to be taken away or are being taken away. And, as much as I wish that wasn't the reason, just as I wish you didn't have to go through a traumatic experience to come to the realization that guns are a tool and are useful, I'm happy people like you are here. I'm happy every new gun owner who decides to own a gun and become knowledgeable about them does so, even if it unfortunately takes a traumatic experience to make that jump.
yeah, that's what I always say to people is please come train and learn. Even if you decide not to buy a gun, just come do a training class, educate yourself. No matter what you think about guns, what I can tell you for a fact is they are here. So
yeah, and they're not going anywhere. That's
right. So be educated. Like even if you like we offer one-on-one classes, so I always tell people to come to a one-on-one class because it's a very comfortable space to be in. You're not like in a classroom full of gun bros, so there's no like, it's just you and one other person and you can just learn. So I'm like, go do that. Your opinion on guns doesn't have to change. You can just educate yourself and be more safe and know what you're doing. And the other thing that I always tell them is like, do that now. Because I don't know the stats on like how many people go through life and have a traumatic event, but I think it's probably like a lot of people. And I always see people coming into the range, literally sometimes like black eyes and like busted up faces, and they're super traumatized and something horrible just happened last night. And they're like, I need to buy a gun. And they're like so upset. And that's the worst time to be trying to educate yourself. You're going through it. So, likelihood that you'll have a traumatic event in your life at some point is probably pretty high. Just get training. Like I'm not going to try to pressure you into buying a gun or do whatever. Just educate yourself.
That's the thing. It's like the people who say, I have no idea why anybody would ever want a gun, with kind of like through their teeth looking down on the people who choose to be gun owners as if we're ignorant or less intelligent or less civilized. I'm happy that you have no idea why someone would need to know, would need to own a gun. I'm very happy that people exist that have never experienced violence towards them. And, I wish things were to a point where nobody would have to experience violence, but that's not the world that we live in. And, I just, it's super goofy when people who, when people try to project their own lack of experience onto others and use that as an excuse to like shit on people for their life choices.
Yeah.
Right. And there's something else going on here too that's kind of working against that recommendation. Because obviously it's like, okay, so get training and education now because you might feel differently later, or even if you don't think you'll feel differently. This is a very practical and sound advice, but from the perspective of dedicated anti-gun culture warriors, there's this feeling that knowledge of guns is forbidden. That knowing more about the guns makes you less able to argue against them, or that it's
well, it kind of does go hand in hand. The more you know about guns, the less you're able to argue against them.
Right. So they're starting from the position of that they want guns banned, right? They know that learning about it just kind of taints their pure position of opposition. And so, you tell people you tell people that are kind of on the fence or just don't know a lot about it, to go get some education and decide for yourself. Well, you got people on the other side of it that are don't go anywhere near that, that's gonna it's gonna corrupt you somehow.
It's almost like perspective shapes people. I know very few people who are I don't know anybody personally who is quote unquote pro-life who has also had to get an abortion.
Yeah.
And it's
right.
kind of goes hand in hand. Lived experiences shape your perspective on the world.
Yeah. 100%.
I know a lot of people that think abortion's kind of yucky, but that understand that people make decisions and have rights and
I mean, I don't know anybody that loves abortion. I don't think anybody's
I don't think
anybody's fuck babies, fuck fetuses.
I've definitely met antinatalists who as a policy position are against having kids. I don't know if they are actually super excited about abortion.
Right. I'd say most people that are pro-choice they're not abortion fans.
Right.
They just understand I shouldn't be in charge of your medical decisions. That's all.
Yeah, for sure.
I typically have the whenever I'm arguing with someone, and I use this term arguing instead of debating, whenever I'm arguing with someone who I know is not going to change their mind, I always take the stance that I think abortion should be mandatory and random.
Just because you're I'm not going to win this argument anyway.
I'm not going to win this argument, so I'm just gonna come up with the most unhinged take.
You have to
make this person remember me.
We're gonna increase benefits for parents, but you have to take a lottery, and if you draw the wrong number, all your kids get aborted, no matter how old they are.
You know what? Sometimes when I argue or debate or whatever, I'm trying to talk to somebody who is not pro-choice, I feel that's the stigma. That's what they think is happening.
Yeah.
People are having abortion parties.
Yeah. I'm about to have a baby, and I'm 2 days away from my due date, and then all of a sudden I'm just you know what? I don't want this baby anymore, and I just go have an abortion, and it's so fun, and I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, that's how women who get abortions sound.
Yeah, that's literally what.
I don't want this baby anymore.
Did you like that?
Yeah,
it was good.
I think that's what's in their head. That's what they delusionally think is happening.
I purposefully carried this baby for 9 months so that it would be as offensive as possible when I get the abortion.
Yeah. I just wanted to piss you pro-life off.
I think it's this phenomenon where people, instead of, it's heuristics. People make mental shortcuts about things that they don't fully understand in order to quote unquote protect themselves. It's an evolutionary thing that the media and the government and whatnot take advantage of, knowing that we're going to do that. And people end up characterizing entire groups of people they've never even met a person from in order to make it easier to demonize them. So they of course, you're gonna make people who get abortions sound like they're all, ditzy, green-haired, anti-baby communists or whatever.
Right,
But the vast majority of people who get abortions are just normal, regular people. like most groups of people. I wouldn't say, not all groups of people. Certain groups of people are full of shitty people, but
right.
It's interesting, and I know you've gotten a lot of flack from people, even on our post saying that we were having you on today.
Yeah?
Somebody commented, "OnlyFans detected." This is the funniest thing to me. Like grown men,
I have so much to say
supposedly
about
grown
this.
men, they make rhymes
Lock in.
like the
I know.
OnlyFans detected, opinion rejected.
Can I give you a quick interesting fact of who is on OnlyFans? Those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes they're not even smart enough to change their freaking user. They have the same usernames.
Oh yeah.
I just imagine these dudes like doing hopscotch, saying these rhymes, or like jump rope or whatever.
Yeah, just like
as they're
clapping
doing
to
this.
each other.
Yeah. OnlyFans rejected, or opinion rejected, and it's just like they're completely devoid of a rational argument against that,
Yeah.
other than, and that's why they say things like that.
But it's interesting to me that I've never seen a man comment on a man's post. And yet, do you know who's made up OnlyFans of? It's men. Like, there's a very small percentage of women on OnlyFans, and men are the ones keeping OnlyFans alive.
I didn't know that.
Because we're all horn dogs, of course. The majority of
Well, like,
people
who
are.
do you think pays money to OnlyFans? Women?
Right. Well, and that's what I mean. Like, it's like they're gonna pay money into OnlyFans to like access it, and then they're gonna be like, yeah, but I'm never gonna listen to anything this chick says.
They weren't
'Cause she's
listening to
here.
me anyway, guys.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
That it says a lot about like the view of women in our society, and especially sex workers, as kind of like transactional and like lower than it's I won't say as in society, but in a certain sect of society. It's funny, you're on our podcast now, and then tonight we're having somebody else on who also has an OnlyFans, but only because we lost the previous recording with her and she's kind enough to come back. It's just like, but we don't go searching for people with OnlyFans. Like we don't go, it's just, there's an intersection of people we respect who also have OnlyFans, and they bring something to the table in the conversation, and it's a benefit that you're into guns also.
right, yeah. I mean, I think like if somebody has OnlyFans or doesn't, it just like doesn't make any difference to me about anything. Like I don't really
my business,
understand. I mean, the reason I even started considering it is because someone made an AI porn of me and like decided to sell it everywhere.
Ugh.
And then
Yuck, dude.
I was like,
So you're like, I might as well make money on
What
this.
a modern
I was like,
problem.
well, this
That's
is
so
happening.
I gotta
fucking
figure
weird.
out how to make money on this. It's just too
already
good.
happening. Like this
Yeah.
random bro with a ton of money off this. I'm not.
Wait. So
Yeah.
who's worse? The guy who makes the AI porn, or the guy who doesn't realize he can make his own and buys it from somebody else?
Right? No, you can just literally go make AI porn of anybody at any time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So I
So
don't
like,
know.
why
Well, I don't
are
think
you
they-
buying? It
so
just
this
doesn't
person
make-
like made a fake account of, the people that bought it are so dumb, but he made like a fake account of
Yeah.
me and then would message all my followers and be like, "Hi, babe.
Yes. Oh my god,
Do you wanna
dude,
see
this
more
fucking
of
happens
me?"
to me. It's so annoying, and this is so hard as a fucking recovering porn addict. I'm gonna play the violin for myself. Just like being on Instagram and getting these fucking bot messages about,
Yeah.
and they're all the same. It's all like copy pasted.
But I don't know why anybody thinks that that's
real.
Yeah, who falls
Yeah.
for that
Oh,
anymore?
yeah.
Like, don't we all know that that's not?
I get dozens, like no lie, I get dozens of junk messages a week of the same bot message saying, "Hey, my friend dared me to
Yes.
reach out to you.
Oh my god, yes. It's
Follow my
Let's
other
see my
profile
account
here.
because this account I made because I'm too
Yeah.
shy. That doesn't even make any sense.
Message me on my other account where I sell my OnlyFans, but this one I'm too shy
Right.
on."
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's super weird. I think the first time that I recognized that OnlyFans was a legitimate source of income, and had a whole new perspective on it, was my last job. I had this commute on I-95, and every now and then I would see this like souped up Cadillac CTS-V fly by me in the left lane while I was driving my like Subaru, my Volvo wagon, and they had in big letters on the back window their OnlyFans link. And I was like, you know what? Fuck yeah. Like, you do. Like, yeah, OnlyFans paid for this sports car that you're never going to be able to afford. Okay. Like, I get the jealousy aspect there, because I was like, I might do OnlyFans if that's the thing that gets
Well,
paid out.
I don't
But
think,
I also probably wouldn't be able to afford a Cadillac with my OnlyFans.
They'll sell you so short.
But maybe you could at least like fill your gas
Andrew.
tank up, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, like whoever, I don't know who commented that. I didn't see it yet, but I
To
guarantee
be fair, I don't know
you-
if they were being like ironic. It was very early in the
Right.
morning, and if
Yeah,
they were
who
joking,
knows?
then you know,
Lots of love to that person. First of all, I don't
lots
think
of love.
yeah, like I'm not trying to start a fight at all, but like here's some things. I don't think my opinion ever mattered to them anyway. So like I'm not losing sleep that my opinion is rejected. Also, I don't think that person would care if I sent them a picture of my tits for free.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I don't think they
but if you're making money on
necessarily
it, that's where
care.
the issue is.
Yeah. So in fact, they would probably want to do more than just see pictures of my tits for free. I just
Yeah.
think they don't like the money aspect of it. But again, like if you do have a problem with OnlyFans, you don't need to talk to any women about it. You need to go talk to men about it because
Yeah.
Yeah,
like if half
or
the women,
like I don't know, talk to a therapist.
yeah, like if half the women left OnlyFans right now, it would still be up and running just as much. And if half the men left OnlyFans right now, it would be a huge, like, that would be crazy.
Would
Because
cause a
men are the one
recession.
funding OnlyFans. So I have, I think,
Yeah.
one woman on there. Everything
Yeah.
else.
There are a
is-
bunch of dudes.
Yeah, it's dudes. So
Yeah, there are also a bunch of dudes who I didn't realize are like creators on OnlyFans. I follow
yeah.
a bunch of people who, like, when I click their link tree, they'll just happen to have an OnlyFans also. And, you know, like, at this point, it's like, all right, a 50-50 shot that anyone who is, like, attractive and puts a lot of effort into making content on Instagram that shows off their looks has an OnlyFans. But, like, that's marketing. Like, that is totally marketing. When I make this, like, super goofy TikTok or reel of like me wearing a printing assault weapons t-shirt or something like that, that's the same. It's the same kind of marketing that somebody, you know, you wearing like a leather pants on, like, shoot with an outside the waistband holster and a tank top, and then like drilling bullseyes. That's marketing. You just happen to be also like directing people inadvertently to the links in your profile.
I got this one account that came across my feed. She's like a mushroom researcher. And I was like, sweet, I fucking love mushrooms. And I was like learning about mushrooms at the time. So I was like, algorithm worked. Show me the mushrooms. And I started looking at her reels. And it's like there's like one of her in the woods, like just like going around picking mushrooms. And then there's like a half-second shot of her like start in a bikini starting to untie it. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? What is this shit? And I started looking at some of her other reels, and there's
What
like,
is this shit?
there's like her like doing like mushroom research, and then like a little short little clip of her like you know, like starting to make out with a chick in the woods amongst mushrooms. And I realized, like,
I mean,
I went to and I looked at her bio, and there's like spicy Twitter, OnlyFans, and like a whole bunch of other like model sites. And I realized, like, this chick isn't making up the mushroom thing. She's like talking about mushrooms and like actually, you know, like has like equipment and like shows off like what she's actually doing. And apparently she's like a graduate student, like researching mycology or whatever, but like also has an Instagram and has an OnlyFans and all that, and has like integrated that marketing into her like shtick, right? Her like mushroom
it's like
thing.
who she is, and I feel like
Yeah.
people must want to have that like connection, because otherwise, like, there's so much porn for free.
Oh yeah.
I mean, sometimes I'm like, do you guys know that porn is free?
Yeah, right. I know. Like,
please don't stop. But like, did you know?
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
can do like way more than what I'm doing here for literally free. But also, like, don't stop.
I think it's great. You know, like there's this like culture war of, and Andrew, I know you kind of fall in the middle because like morally, you support people who do OnlyFans, but like you're against porn, or like
I'm not
a
against
consumer.
porn. I personally
Yeah.
cannot consume it in a healthy way. That's
Yes,
that's where I'm at. Other people, it's
But
not my
there's-
business.
Fair. I'm
But
like
there's,
that with
you know-
soda. Like, no soda.
Yeah,
for me.
right.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to
You're not
have
out here
soda,
trying to
go
ban
for
soda.
it.
Yeah.
I'm like that with Coke personally. Like I cannot consume it in a healthy way.
Yeah. I'm
Damn, mine was so
it
boring. Like, I should have picked something
No.
better.
Yeah. I've only done it a few times, and it's been enough to know that I should not do it again. But which is weird as somebody with ADHD. What?
Yeah. Oddly enough, I'm cool with Coke and porn, but like soda,
Yeah.
That doesn't
Yeah.
seem odd to me at all.
No. But I love that people
I know people that like do like meth, and they're like, but only salads for me, please.
Oh,
You know, like I will not eat a hamburger. That's my body is a temple.
Yeah. My friend said that the other day across the table from me, and I reminded him that his body is like a temple that is getting bombed in Lebanon. It's not quite the same. Not quite.
Yeah.
Just because it's a temple does not mean that
It's
in
sacred,
good
but
shape.
nobody seems to give a shit about it.
right, exactly. There are those temples.
Yeah, to kind of branch off of that a little bit, one of the reasons that I made such a concerted, obsessive effort to get you back on the show again was because I had a lot of people who, when I would bring you up in conversation, would say, "Oh, Kris is cool. Like Kris is like your particular views and things that they've overheard you say vibe well with what we do." And it got me thinking, this is somebody who is arguably one of the more mainstream people in the gun space, but also does this, which is historically not meshed well with the overtly conservative, gun community.
Yes and no, right? Like,
Well,
doesn't
not
mesh well
outwardly.
in discourse, but meshes
Yes,
very
in
well
public.
economically.
Yes. And, it got me thinking, do you think that the gun community is changing enough to make space for people who don't fit the usual mold? Or do you think that the culture war is we're constantly going to be fighting that battle?
I mean, that's like a yes and no question. Obviously, it is a little bit because I'm here and like I'm someone that shouldn't be here. I don't fit into the, what you would think of as a gun person. It's not me. And somehow I'm here. So that's great. So yes. And also like, I get enough hate or negative attention. So also no, because, there is that negative attention. But first of all, I don't give a shit about the negative attention at all. My business is thriving. That's why I'm here. I'm not here to pat my ego, I didn't like one day wake up and be like, I need some validation from the gun community. I'm going to start posting. No, I was like, I want this business to thrive. I'm going to start posting. And that's what happened. So, if you want to like talk negative about me, please do. It's like free press. Every time you, talk shit about me, I'm going to have 5 new customers. So like, go for it. But I do think there is change happening. And I think it's crazy because I think it's like it's a self-sabotage of the 2A community to not let people that don't like look right come in. Because just me, I've helped hundreds, probably thousands, because I probably don't know about stuff, but like literally personally in my range, like person to person, I've helped hundreds of people who were like anti-gun, like myself, become pro-gun and become gun owners and learn about gun safety. And that's like not my online presence. That's just like in my range, in my store. So it really is like self-sabotaging of the 2A community to say that they only want, this certain kind of person in their community. And my opinion is that the 2A community kind of like did this to themselves.
Yeah.
Like so much they did it to themselves. Even in just conversation, like I've watched so many things, you like watch live, like the senators arguing with each other. And even that, it just blows my mind the way that they're just so like they talk down to them so much and just like it's just so gross. I did an interview at one time with a very liberal television station, which right there, like nobody in our community will even talk to these people. They literally came from a different state to interview me because like nobody from the 2A community would talk to them. And they were talking about how like it was their stance that we should have magazine capacity limited. So I'm like, instead of being like, you're so stupid, like, whatever, which is kind of liberal. Yeah, it's the usual reaction. I was just like, oh, like, why? That's so interesting to me. Why? And well, if they only had like, they were talking about like a 10-round magazine. Well, wouldn't you rather only have like 10 shots? And I go, okay. So like, if I'm like, I'm the bad guy. Okay. I have 100 rounds of ammunition. Like, do you feel safer if I have 10 10-round mags versus 5 20-round mags? Like, how does that make you feel safer? I'm like, I'm struggling here. Yeah. And then I brought her into the range and showed her how to change a mag. And I was like, it's like less than a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the big disconnects between the people who are historically anti-gun or pro-gun control, I'll say, and reality, because you spend any amount of time with guns or with people who shoot guns, and that's something that you learn straight off the bat. It's a perfect example of this fascination with chasing the symptom and not the problem itself.
Yes.
You've got these people who would say, yeah, okay, it's going to be objectively safer if we limit the amount of rounds that a magazine can hold. Meanwhile, I mean, something as simple as like you have these couplers now that can just couple 10-round magazines, and then you can couple them upside down so that you have one on top of another and then two side by side. So now you have 40 rounds, 4 magazines on an AR that if somebody spends any amount of time with, they can reload in a completely negligible time difference than if they were to actually have a 40-round mag.
Well, it's also important to note too, a lot of this magazine capacity rhetoric is based off of one incident that's been recorded where the shooter was reloading and somebody like saw that he was reloading and grabbed his hand or something. And there's never to my knowledge been another incident where somebody saw a mass killer reloading and seize the opportunity because of that. The reality is that whatever magazines they have on them and however many magazines they have on them, they're going to continue shooting until they meet resistance, and then they will stop. They will either kill themselves or they will run away.
Which is what we see time and time again.
And it doesn't even matter. It's like you could throw a chair at them, shoot a gun at them, you could punch them, or just push them. It doesn't seem to really matter what you do to them. Once they realize they're not shooting at a bunch of sitting ducks, they're just gonna stop. They're gonna do something else.
Yeah,
and
that's why people go after schools and not police stations.
Yeah, and it's never been the case that the number of bullets in the magazine mattered in that situation.
Right.
And I understand logically why someone who's unfamiliar with this problem would assume that the size of the magazine helps a mass shooter, right?
It's not the size, it's how you use it.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
It just doesn't bear out, in reality.
Yeah, have you found any success in having these conversations with people who, I mean, obviously by the time you interact with most people, they are at least open to the idea because they're coming to see you at the range. But have you had any success having these conversations with people who are vehemently anti-gun? And like, if that's the case, like, how do you find is the best way to reach people like that?
I share my own experience, but I also, there's something so valuable in just kind of like shutting up and listening to their experience and understanding how they feel. And I think, 10 years ago, I felt like that. So I think just understanding that is the first step, because there's so many people in the 2A community that can't even like let them get their sentence out, can't even, it seems so stupid and crazy to them. And I think like the 2A community needs to understand like our nervous system is built to keep us away from things that could kill us. So it's completely reasonable that somebody would look at a gun and be like, it's like backing away from a cliff. It's okay. Yeah. You just need to be educated. And we don't have to think one way or another when somebody's like, oh, I don't like guns. Oh, great. Your whole body is like literally built to try to walk away from a loud fucking explosion. Like, that's fine. Yeah. No problem. So I think just like
that's totally normal.
And not acting like they're weird. Like the way that a lot of people in the 2A community will just instantly just start judging. Oh, you're anti-gun. Oh, you don't love America. Oh, like, no, have some understanding. Like, I didn't like guns because every time I saw a gun, growing up, it was a horrible situation. Awful. So why would I like them? Like, it makes sense that I didn't like them. That's fine. Maybe change their experiences that they've had. Gives them a good experience with guns. Like, it's normal that if we as humans, every time we see a certain thing, it's a bad experience. Of course, we're not going to like that thing.
It's tee off of what you said earlier about, the gun community shooting itself in the foot and doing this to itself. Whenever I see somebody who is like openly transphobic or homophobic or bigoted in any way on the internet, especially on our page or like in our interactions, I find a really good way to kind of, at least the way that makes me feel better, because I know these people are not going to be able to be reached on the internet, is like remind them like, hey, you're the reason these people are buying guns. If you don't want these people that you hate or whoever that may be to buy guns and to be part of this gun community, be a good fucking person. and they won't have reason to. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many people who buy a gun because they feel like they need one. It's because of the other people with guns who hate them.
Yeah.
So if you don't want them to feel like they have to equalize the playing field, don't make them feel like they
Don't talk
need
about
to.
killing them all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild. You know, it's you know, and I'm really digging this change that we have where people like yourself, and you know, you seem like you've probably always been like this, but more gun owners are addressing the issue of the fact that we have such a lack of empathy for people who have been through traumatic experiences, or who people who have different opinions than us. People have different opinions, and you know, validating someone's concerns. If you want to convince someone that they are wrong, the best thing you can do, and the first thing you should do, is validate their concerns. If you immediately come out of the gate, like you said, calling someone an idiot, you're an idiot, you're a stupid person, and
Yeah.
like, because that's how we sound.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. It's going to make them feel validated, because now, like we said, you know, there's this caricature of gun owners, and you're contributing to that by doing that.
Well, you know, and
Yeah.
Jordan, what you're saying is not like fucking metaphysics or sociology. Like,
No, if you
they're-
Google like how to get
Yeah.
people to agree with you,
Yeah.
it's like Psychology Today article
it's not
number
woo-woo.
one.
They like can look at your fucking brain, and when somebody is like arguing with you, like different parts of it light up than when you're like actively taking in information and changing your mind. So there's like a physiological response that your brain has when a deeply held position is like suddenly and angrily like criticized. You know, there's a certain, you know, it's sort of related to the cognitive dissonance, which is like a real discomfort you have when you suddenly find out that something that you believe is wrong, and you have to reconcile it. You just have to approach people like, be chill, be normal, you know, be normal, challenge.
I love where I work, because I'm in such a melting pot of ideologies and beliefs, because it's afforded me the opportunity to have these hard conversations with people without having to build the trust first, because that's a big thing. Is, you know, building yourself as a trusted resource is hard, especially when all of your discourse happens on the internet. But when you're day in, day out doing things with people, and then you come to the point where there's a disagreement, that trust is hopefully already there if you're not a shitty person. And I've had conversations with people who think that abortion is murder, and being able to have frank and honest conversations with people about that kind of thing, even if you don't immediately change their mind, regardless of what it is, whether it's guns, abortion, immigration, whatever, even if you don't immediately change their mind, you're showing them that not everybody who holds your belief is who they were told that person is.
Yeah.
And
That's so
it
true.
opens the door to more conversations like that in the future.
Yeah, that's so true. I think just like listening to each other and being able to understand each other is so huge, and it's something that's just missing from the world in general, honestly.
Speaking of missing from the world, if you're listening to this and you're not on our Patreon, you're missing from our world. So you should absolutely go check out our Patreon if you like what we're doing. And
That was smooth.
I've been trying to get better about promoting that. It sounds so cheesy, but like we used to do ads in the middle where we would stop the show and be like, "Hey, people, listen to
I
our
like
go
the
follow our Patreon."
Listen, that was like so smooth and cheesy and perfect.
Very endearing.
That was
I like that. It made me
I try
smile.
to find a healthy blend of smooth and cheesy in my day-to-day life. I like to
really-
think that's how
yeah.
I won my wife over.
yes.
It's
Win wines
it's,
with
you know,
cheese and smoothness. It's true.
Oh my God, my cheese is the smoothest.
I love it.
I don't know if I like that. I don't know. Honey,
good.
you like my smooth cheese? Anyway,
No, go on.
no, go off, King. Marry me.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, there's but there is a validity to, like, I mean, even if I've had conversations with people where like just being, not trying to paint yourself as the most knowledgeable person in the room and,
Right.
and being a cheese ball. Like I'm a goof. Like I know I'm a goofball. I happen to have some very strong beliefs about certain things, and you know, if you can interject some kind of humor into that conversation, then that's a win. You know, break break
Yeah.
the ice. If you're dating somebody or flirting with someone and you make them laugh, that's a win. If you can make somebody laugh who's wants to have an argument with you, you're in.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't take dating advice from me. I've been a serial monogamist my whole life, but absolutely take advice from me about how to talk to people who disagree with
That's
you.
how you that's people should take dating advice from you if you've been in a relationship your whole
I
life.
guess you're right. Yeah, I guess
Actually,
depending on what your goals
you're
are.
doing it right.
Yeah, fair, fair.
I don't know. People ask me, my wife and I started dating when we were in high school, and people ask me for like relationship advice. I'm like, I don't know the problems.
I don't know. I was just so good at it. She stayed with me.
No, I mean, I think
so
I feel
good
like
she
she
married
just cut
me.
me a lot of slack. I don't know.
That's a lot. That's part of it.
The problems that people have with relationships and dating are so alien to me now, having only done it one time,
perfect marriage.
in high school instead of like as an adult, and it just like, I don't know. I feel like I don't have that kind of advice for
Just
people.
be grateful.
Yeah.
Just be grateful. It's not fun out here. I'm like wildly single, and I'm never going to date again, and I'm going to die alone. And I'm like so happy about it. So I also
dude, if you're like, there's but honestly, that's advice in and of itself is like, in the same vein that people are choosing not to have kids en masse. Like, I have friends of mine who are 100% happy with the fact that they are not going to have kids, and they're doing awesome things with their lives. Like my two of my best friends just got back from a cruise in Alaska. They flew out to Washington and just did a cruise in Alaska, and they hiked through the rainforest in Alaska, which I didn't even know existed. And, like, granted, there are benefits to having kids. Like, Kris, you know that. Andrew, you know that, obviously. Andrew's life is fucking chaos.
I'm
with kids,
I want some more benefits. I want the balance.
Your benefits,
of the benefits to be a little higher.
You chose to have 3 kids in quick succession of each other, so your benefits will be reaped later.
I can't complain. I love my kids. I'm just really tired right now and all the time.
There's like a decade of tiredness when you have kids, I feel like.
Yeah. We started recording a little, like our last episode, I think it was, or the one before that, and Andrew got on the camera, and he looked like he had just been through war. He was wearing the same shirt as he was when he got on the front line. And I was like, Andrew, like I hate to be this guy, but you gotta change your shirt, man.
Get your shit together. You're on video.
And I was like, oh, actually, it's a V-neck. Oh, okay. And he's like, no, I've slept in this shirt and I haven't changed.
It was like, it's like all like loose and like, hanging on me like a tent. And
it happens. I've been there.
Yeah.
I'd be a horrible manager because I find it so hard to pull rank and like put my foot down. I've had to do it like once or twice, not on this, but like my other jobs. I distinctly remember a situation where I don't remember the situation because apparently I fucking blacked out or something on this employee who was not getting her shit together. I don't know if I just yelled at her, but I remember my boss looking at me going, holy shit, fucking go get him. Like, I can't believe you did that. And this was a person who deserved it. But I don't remember a single thing I said. I don't know what the hell happened.
Coping mechanisms.
Yeah, you just like,
I guess. Probably because it made me feel so bad.
Out of my memory.
Yeah.
Probably because it made me feel so bad. Yeah, it's wild. But how's that? Like, how's going from not being in the gun space at all to managing people and like running a business in the gun world?
Well, I have a really good team around me, and I just hire people that are more knowledgeable than me when it comes to the gun space. So I have only a few years experience, they have decades, and then I think you just have to know that they know more than you, and trust them and have their back. I'm more of like a coordinator of this place. I'm not the one that brings the knowledge into here. So
gotcha.
Our gunsmith, he's like arguably the smartest man when it comes to gunsmithing, person when it comes to gunsmithing in the West Coast maybe. So I'm just like so lucky to have him here, and I mean I never tell him what to do. Like,
yeah.
Well, he's that brolic ass dude that I see in some of your videos.
What do you need? Like, and I mean the same with my retail guys. They've been in this business for like years when I didn't even want to touch a gun. And so I rely on them, and I make sure to support them in ways I need to support them. And
yeah,
we're all a team, you know, it's not like me sitting up here calling the shots. Like, we're a team. We all work together. So I think just making sure you're surrounded with the right people is super important.
I hear you. That's huge. That's like, that's something that I've struggled with a lot in this, you know, growing the business, is like knowing when to delegate and knowing when to find people who know more than I do about certain things in order to do things for the business and for the organization.
I mean, this is a good experience for me. Because I'm a serial, like, do everything myself, don't delegate kind of person. But it's a great experience when you, like, don't have the option because you don't know how to fucking do it. Like,
yeah. Who's that massive jack dude that I see in some of your videos?
Nick Best. So he was the strongest man in the world for quite some time. Right now, he's the strongest. I can't remember. I hope he doesn't watch this. He's gonna be like,
he's the strongest man at the range.
Like, he's definitely the strongest man at the range. So, I mean, he's like a great example of someone that, like, we are just so happy to have on our team because he brings a whole different side of things. He actually didn't know anything about guns whenever he started working here. He was one of the influencers I worked with. I worked and still do work with influencers to promote the range.
I never need one. You just smash people.
Right? Literally. But he wanted to learn more about guns. So he asked me, he's like really big in that scene too. He had like his own TV show and all this other kind of stuff. So he didn't really need a job, but he asked me one time, he was like, hey, I wish I could like learn more about guns and like just educate myself. What should I do? And I was like, when people really want to get into it, I'm like, just get a job, because you really need to be doing this like day in, day out to have it really, like, if you want to learn fast, you know, you'll learn in a couple months what takes people years. So I was like, and he was like, can I intern in here or something? And I was like, dude, I'll just hire you. And he was kind of just like, I don't know how to run these guns. I'm like, right, that's the point. You're going to like, you'll figure it out because you're going to be here. You won't have any other choice. So it started with like 2 or 3 days a week just for fun. And then he just like, he fell in love with it. So he's here full time now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. It's nice bringing people from different walks of life, like into the gun scene. And, you know, I'm sure he brings stuff to the table that, I don't have any like specific affinity towards this dude. He's the first guy that I thought, I remembered from your videos. I mean,
he's huge. Like, his arm is big in the body. So it's like, and he, you know, he has a big social media presence. So, you know, obviously when he started working here, that wasn't like a requirement, but it's fun. Like, we have fun doing our social media. You know, there was a time when I like used to dread it, but the way that we kind of do it, like all together now, I would say like a majority of the videos I do, and, you know, it's with lots of people. Like, it's a fun experience. It's not, you know, oh, I'm going to go be cute for this video now. Most of the time it's like us doing, you know, dumb shit to each other, and like it's fun. Yeah.
That's one thing I wish Andrew and I and our group of people were closer together, because when we're together, it's so much fun. We don't even think, I actually had a list of things that when we were together for SHOT Show, I was like, oh, we're going to make content. We're going to do these videos and make content. And we didn't do any of it because we were just having a good time and hanging out with each other. But, you know, if we had a business together and saw each other daily, I'd like to think that we would be able to record some of our shenanigans. Yeah. So it's nice.
I mean, we're to the point now where I think we have more, you know, it used to be a chore of like, and it still is sometimes, be like, oh, I haven't posted in a couple of days. I have to figure out what I'm going to post. You know what I mean? There's those moments. Yeah. I think everybody has those. But the things that we do together are so like, I mean, we're like dying laughing while we're doing it. We're dying. Like we think it's, you know, we're probably getting more entertainment out of it than everybody watching at this point. So, you know, it's just like a reason to act like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
God, everybody needs more of those.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I hear you.
Like I
listen,
just had the most fun. We did a video where I was like walking up to people and hugging them, and I'm not a hugger. Like I love these people. Like I think I had more fun doing that than, and you know, the people like behind me filming, like we were dying laughing. Like just we get the most fun for days. I think that's great. I think every job should have awesome. Like, you know, stupid crap you have to do with everybody just to like lighten the mood.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that's, you know, you've got these like super stiff jobs where everybody's got to be serious all the time. You know, the gun community is one of those things where, like, I remember this iconic video of Print Shoot Repeat shooting with a dildo. Actually, it was a dong for those in the know. on the end of his barrel as for a suppressor, and he got so much flack from people saying, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing this. This is giving the gun industry a bad name. You should be serious all the time. You know, this is a bad example." And it's just like, shut up, dude. Like, it's you can have so much fun with guns. The guns are fun. That should be the thing. That's the selling point. Like, not everything has to be super serious. Guns are fucking fun. And when you can incorporate people you like into the fun stuff that you're already having with guns, that's like 10 times better.
100%. Like, and really work should be fun too. Like, guns should be fun.
Yeah.
Work should be fun. Like, we're all so serious all the time. If we take like 7 minutes to, giggle throughout the day, like, I think that's great. Kind of relieves some of the stress.
Do you guys come up with your own content, or do you have somebody who's like a mastermind and is like, this is what the algorim is craving. Let's make this.
we did market research, and it turns out you need to suplex your boss or something.
No, it's mostly me and Maddie. It's just mostly me and Maddie being dumb. I think what we have is we'll sit around and there'll be like, 5 or 6 of us. And some of these, I mean, there's probably guys that you like recognize who they don't really do their own social media, but they like are involved with ours a lot because it's fun. It's funny. And also because they're like down for anything. So whenever we have something stupid we want to do, we're like, who are we going to get? Like, who's going to do this with us?
I had this.
No, go ahead.
No. It was pointless and stupid.
Oh, geez. Well, I'll have an idea, and it's like kind of funny. It's like 40% funny. And then I'm like, okay, Maddie, we're gonna do this. And then she's like, oh, and then we can add this. And then we like go get the guy to do it with, and he's like, oh, but like let's do this. Like, so we have such an advantage because there's like 5 or 6 people that are giving ideas, and then someone who's not even in the video is like, oh, you should actually do this. You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like we have a little bit of an advantage because no, we don't have like a team, but like yes, we do.
Yeah. Yeah, Kris got a call.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
It's all good. We're standing.
Sorry. Okay, and I have to wrap it up here in a few minutes as well, too, because I'm getting messages right here that
Awesome. Yeah, I forgot to ask the Patreon questions last time around, and I had to send voice memos. Derek Wilson Silders says, what are you currently seeing or hope to see more of in the gun community to make it more inclusive in terms of making spaces feel safe and comfortable for everyone? It really is. That's one thing I try to explain to people coming into this space is like, I had a friend of mine who had a really good idea, but in practice, I think it would be harder to execute, where he said that we should have a rating system for resources on our website for like how welcoming and safe and like inclusive they are. And I like the idea, but it's tough because for one, it's subjective. It's entirely subjective. And two, like yeah. No, and honestly, vibes are everything.
Yeah.
Like if you walk into a place and everybody's friendly and everybody's happy to see you and very informative and helpful, that I would recommend to people 10 times out of 10 over a range that's like flying a Bernie flag or for whatever reason, like something that like a place that stays apolitical but is engaging and helpful and like honestly makes people feel safe because of the environment in that is way more beneficial, I think, than somebody who's like making left-leaning politics their identity, but doesn't have as much to bring to the table as a place like yourself. Yeah, there's especially in the environment that we're in where there's so many places that don't and make it their whole thing and make it super cringy for everybody. I have a couple more. Timothy asks, he's got two questions. What's your favorite gun, both to own and shoot, in case they're different? Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, no, that's totally reasonable. He also wants to know From your perspective, operating a gun range with rentals, what's your most and least favorite gun to have the public shoot?
You're not ready, dude. You're not ready.
I could definitely see that. Last question. This one isn't a Patreon question. It's just something we ask all our guests. If you had a piece of advice for people, it could be gun related, it could just be something to help people out in their life. What would that piece of advice be? You should start. You're full of wisdom. Yeah. You don't know. I learn that every day.
Whatever it is, you don't know.
You know less. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sick, dude. Well, yeah, I think this is great. This was another banger episode, and I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, we got to add you to our resources list so people could find you from our website, and when they're in the area, go shoot.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I love meeting my internet friends.
Hold on. Was that like, were you being serious or was that like sarcasm? No.
It'd be a really weird time to be like, no, I'm actually sarcastic. I hate meeting people who want to come to the range. That's awesome. A girl needs me. That's awesome.
That's funny.
Sick, Kris. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This was awesome. Go for people listening, go check out the range if you're ever in Vegas, or if you feel like
The
traveling to
range
Vegas to
702.
go to the range. Do it. Awesome. Yeah.
Go ahead. So I mean, what I see is like I'm already doing that personally. So that's great. We really try to make our classes feel very like comfortable and laid back. We do about 100 CCW classes a week, and then uh, probably like 20 to 40 one-on-ones. The one-on-ones I think are really like we have one-on-ones to make people feel comfortable. Those are for people. That's why we do them one-on-one instead of in a classroom situation. So um, that alone, and then I mean the women that we have in here is amazing. We're about 40 to 45% women taking classes, which is awesome. So I think walking into a classroom where there's already a lot of women, that right away that makes women feel more comfortable. We have female instructors, so that kind of helped. And then just the way that our classes are taught, I have to give a lot of credit to our instructors. Um, they're just not that like stringent. You're in the military, blah. Like it feels so relaxed and friendly the way they give classes. And I wish I could like describe that better or give you like data about that. But I think it's just really it's a vibe thing. Like vibes. Yeah. Yeah, that's why there's like no data. Like, yeah, right. Yeah, we definitely stay apolitical. I think that helps us for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I get this question all the time and I just have no answer. I'm so sorry. It just depends. Like there's no way that I can say a favorite gun. I'm a Glock fan, so I carry a Glock 19X at work, and then I carry a Glock 43X to conceal carry. Um, Begrudgingly, I like the Bodyguard 2.0, and I have that, and I can still carry that sometimes too, because I really hated the Bodyguard, but 2.0, I begrudgingly like it. Um, and we do a whole bunch of full auto stuff. They're all fun. I don't know. It depends on the day and situation. I refuse to have a favorite gun. I'm sorry. I don't know. I can't. Least favorite gun to have like most public shoot is the AK-47. I don't know why everybody wants to come in here and shoot the AK-47. They've never shot a gun before and they want to shoot it in full auto. I don't know why that is. It's so annoying. Stop it. You're not ready for the AK-47 in full auto. I have a lot of, I could go on. Ooh, I feel like I don't dole out advice often. You know what? I guess my piece of advice would be like what I always tell myself is like, you don't know. Like, I always tell myself that I don't know. And so I always just want to like ask more questions and learn. And I wish everybody felt that way because I feel like a lot of times people wake up thinking that they know. You don't know. Neither do I. I don't know what we're talking about, but you don't fucking know. Trust me. And neither do I. Yeah. Yeah, it was totally awesome. Finally, after years of trying. Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I always love it when people come by. I love meeting people from online. I love it when I get to meet them in the range. It's awesome. No, I love it. I literally love it. I really hate it. My favorite thing is there's been like, I would say maybe like 10, 20 girls, like young women who have traveled to the range to shoot their first gun with me. And it literally like, it warms my heart. It warms my heart. I will leave whatever. I will be in a meeting and they'll be like, "There's a little girl down here that wants to shoot her first gun with you," and I'm like, "Fuck everything else." It's like my favorite thing. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, thank you so much. Super fun. Yeah. Yeah. Come say hi.